Yeah, it's awkward.
All right, we're live. Well, kind of live.
Kind of live, yeah.
Kinda not all the way live. I'm gonna adjust the mic.
Oh yeah. I like this.
No more development for the phonogene, but we will keep producing it and supporting it.
Let's see. Oh, we had a starting topic, right? About our vision, or do we want to do questions first?
Oh, Tony just got a question though.
Okay.
From Rich C90.
That's my friend Ivo. It's a streaming text. He just texted me. It's a friend of
It's
mine.
kind of easier to just type it back, right?
you
It's
just
kind
type
of
it
weird
back?
to like respond to their question in the video, and then they have to watch it
And then
later.
to watch it later, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's this?
Okay.
Maybe we should just.
The password.
Okay, so we can just do this as it goes. Okay, so if anyone.
I guess we're live.
Well, oh, hey, we're live, or we're recording.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so what's our first topic? Yeah.
It was about vision. Do you want to pull it up, Dan?
Sure. Okay, so.
We should probably pass this around too, so that they can hear us over the drums.
Oh.
Or speak real close.
So we will have a discussion about the vision behind Eurorack module development of today. That's number one.
Right?
Okay.
Cool.
I haven't developed any Eurorack modules today.
Not yet.
I did resolder one this morning though.
I think
That's
that
a
counts.
development.
Yeah, I guess that is. One of the morphogenes, the memory chip, which was the only part that was hand placed. Because we had to change the memory. Because the development of the morphogene took so long that the memory that we were using went out of production, and they started making a new one.
Oh man.
And the timing was just a little bit different, so we had to put new memory on, make new firmware, the whole thing. So it's hand soldered.
Right.
And then it's been working perfectly for months. We bring two of them here, and we bring three here. Of the three we brought, two of them, some of the pins on the memory IC got fractured on the way here, I guess, because they stopped.
Wow.
When the memory was partially working, but there'd be dropouts and stuff. So this morning I woke up and touched them all up. They work perfect now.
You didn't want that to be a feature?
Yeah.
Well,
Crackle mode? Crackle
It
mode?
totally sounded like a crackle bug.
Yeah.
And in fact, you could even press on the IC to kind of control how much crackle you get.
Yeah.
That's a feature.
Yeah.
It's not really an FSR, but there's like a hole where you push on the.
Oh, that would be
IC,
crazy. A hole that you could
Push on the IC. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, somebody will
Okay.
probably do that at some point.
Exactly.
I definitely don't, because that sounds like a huge liability.
That was free. You can use that.
Use that.
Yeah. That's a free one. Good. What was the question?
So I'm curious. Like, we're still being recorded.
Yeah.
It's streaming. They're able to see us. We're
No, we're not streaming.
No, we're
recording
not
this for
streaming at
later.
all.
Oh, for later,
We can see
okay.
what
We're just
they're
supposed to
talking about.
record a conversation about these questions, and then I
Oh,
think
the
he wants us
questions.
to answer questions on here too.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay, got it.
Richard, which modules got you the most excited from NAMM? Or should we be texting this back?
You have to say one from each of us.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
No,
I'm
really. But it's true though. My favorite things were stuff that I took pictures of you guys. No, that works perfectly actually, because I am really excited about all the new things that you guys have. This is recording? Is that what was that really one of the questions?
Yeah, that was the latest question.
Oh,
Yeah.
so Rich asked, Rich C90. Yes, I'm very excited about all three of these guys' stuff that's coming out. The new sampler, Tony's phone, the new phonogene version, and the the new
Arpeggiator.
the arpeggiator. Yeah, dude,
Architect, yeah.
Architect was those are, But I love all three of these guys' stuff. Use all this stuff all the time, But yeah, very impressed with everything that I saw here. Dan's new sampler is awesome too. Really, really digging that. Really nice, simple design, easy to see everything. Good, looks like it's going to be a great live performance sampler. When you were showing me yesterday, yeah. Because I'm always looking for a better performance sampler to do live shows with. To be able to record in right away, yeah. It's awesome. Yeah. And then when you were showing me the function of storing different samples to different places in storage positions and recalling them, that's huge. Being able to know sample 5 was this, sample 16 is, or my snare drum is on 2, my kick drum is on channel 1.
That's great.
That's huge. That's huge. Yeah.
Are you two? Is the Morphogene SD card compatible in yours?
Yeah, right. It's WAV files.
It's just but I don't know if we're using the same type though. We're using a 32-bit float wave file. Is that what you're using?
Ours will read 32-bit floats.
Okay.
And then there'll be options for how you record.
Oh, okay.
24, 16.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Just curious.
Yeah.
Because that would be pretty sweet.
I mean,
Yeah, it'll read any WAV file. It's just like a WAV file player.
it's not.
Yeah.
One thing that right now the splice data is not encoded into the WAV file. It's a separate text file.
That's good though.
Yeah. What's kind of cool about that is it's super easy to edit. So if you throw your WAV file up on your Audacity or something, and you measure it in samples instead of time, you can literally look and get the sample number where you want to put a splice and just type that into the splice text, and then when it loads it up, it'll put the splices there.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's a way you can edit manually. We're talking about developing something a little more user less hacky feeling.
Yeah, but
You know,
that's
like-
kind of cool. I like the hacky feeling of it too.
I mean, I used to be really into the Ensoniq Mirage sampler. I don't know if you guys ever used that.
Oh, I used the Mirage.
Yeah.
And I had the Mirage first, and then I got the EPS 16 Plus.
EPS was way
Dude,
better.
I love the resampling feature on that, where you could fold the sample onto itself.
On the
and it would-
Mirage, you mean? Those weird, the transwaves?
The transwaves, yeah.
Those were really cool.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
I still don't have a sampler that does that weird. I can't even explain it. I used to make
there
all
was
kinds
like
of,
8 operations you
Yeah.
could do on samples, and one of them was you could load 2 samples, and then you could merge them. And it would basically go and mash them together, and then you never knew what you were gonna get. And it'd take forever. On the Mirage, it took forever.
took forever,
You
yeah.
push go, and it'd be like.
it was,
Calculating.
yeah, and you could make cool
chugging away.
percussion sounds. That's how I made a lot of percussion sounds back in the day.
Yeah.
I would just
Smash
a
'em.
fusion of 2 different. Yeah, it's almost like a crude form of convolution.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of what it
One
was
is the
trying
next
to
Trying to
Both of
do
the
is
other.
because then when I
Yeah.
tried Tom Erb's sound hack, when I really got it in the software
for
domain,
sure.
that's when my mind was blown. It's like, oh, really? I can take the amplitude frequency amplitude frequency information of one sample and impose that into another one. That
Yeah.
idea was way back on my OS 8.5
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Mac Quadra computer or whatever, whenever
let's
that
put it
was.
this way.
back
I was
in the
doing
day.
SDS dumps to get samples from my EPS to the computer, process them with Tom's thing, then send them back out.
Send them back. I
You're
did
talking
stuff-
about an afternoon there. man.
Dude, I used to do stuff like that too all the time. Oh, it's so funny. That's so funny.
Just to preserve that, because I didn't really have a nice audio interface or anything
Sure.
like that yet. It's
Yeah.
kind of before you had all your FireWire, $500 24-bit audio interface.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the cheapest way to do it.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
It still had good quality.
That's funny though. You mentioned the Mirage and the EPS samplers. Those were
EPS was a lot easier to program. The Mirage you program with hexadecimal codes.
hexadecimals.
sweet.
Yeah.
So it was two 7-segment LEDs that were always flickering like crazy. Especially if it was working hard, the display would start flickering really crazy.
Priority on the refresh tab was a bit low.
Yeah, they were like, well, what can we need a little more processing power. What can we give
It's
up?
like a light show.
Yeah. But yeah, it was all, and you had to either memorize them or just have them handy, and especially editing loop points and stuff.
Loop
with
points.
that.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
There was an
With
MS
2
DOS
digits,
app that
we
was a lot better, but sometimes I guess I use the MS DOS app every once in a while. I don't know if you ever used that from Turtle Beach.
I didn't use the MS DOS app at all. I had the Mirage for a very short time.
Yeah.
Because then it was in high school. Then I got the EPS, and then I got the EPS 16 Plus.
EPS 16,
And then I
yeah.
went from that to the ASR 10.
Oh, that was a cool machine.
And
that
then the
thing
ASR
sounded really
Oh, it
good.
was great. Yeah.
It was
And
so
then
good
I
sounding.
felt like, oh my God, we're finally here.
Yeah.
And then from there I moved to the Akai samplers. But
The coolest thing about the ASR 10 was that you could resample with effects and stuff, but it didn't lose any fidelity because
No
it did it
fidelity
internally,
loss, yeah.
which was really
The
nice.
resample function that was my favorite feature about the Sonic samplers.
Very cool. It had
resampling
cool effects,
capabilities.
too.
Yeah, the effects were bad.
Like
yeah.
the radio filter
Oh,
and
I
stuff.
totally remember that.
That was such a cool filter, like
That was
super
like-
lo-fi bandpass thing.
Oh yeah, I guess we're even talking about Eurorack stuff, aren't we?
Someone asked about sampler.
We're
No,
missing
actually,
an
no,
old
it's about
samplers.
Yeah. The question did come in. Do you guys think we will be able to keep power requirements down for modules indefinitely?
Not what I'm developing.
Yeah, not a chance. We're
Down.
just going to need more powerful power supplies.
I think power supplies can definitely get more powerful. It's not. I don't think it's a problem.
The only problem is when you have something really powerful and you have a problem, you end up with a lot more smoke.
It's true.
Yeah,
It becomes a smaller fire.
it's funny that they brought that up about the power. That's actually an issue I'm dealing with right now. I'm using a 12U case and a skiff, and I'm pushing, I think, close to 110 milliamps over on one case. And another one I'm pushing like 90 something on the other, and I'm using
We don't
like
recommend that.
yeah, I wouldn't recommend it either. I'm using the IntelliGel boards right now. D'Angel's like, you know, these and I'm still over, but it's just these bigger modules like the ER301, for example, the new sampler that came out from Brian Jackson. It's that module alone is like 380 milliamps. I mean, it's these big juicy digital modules really pull a lot of power off the bus. I mean, remember Tony? I blew up a bus board.
Yeah, I don't think
Playing
that
a
had
show?
to do with over. I don't
Or
think that
was
had to
it
do with
dirty power?
overdrawing. I think that had to do with that was the 5-volt line, right? The
Yeah.
mono white whale when it first came out.
Oh, the white wall. That's right. I remember talking
Had
about those,
a power requirement for 5 volts that far exceeded any I'd ever
like
heard
a-
of.
yeah.
That's why they added an extra plug.
It's USB, so it's just 5
It's like a
volts,
2
right?
amp hose.
Yeah. And it wanted 500 milliamps, and up to that point, we had just been putting 250 milliamps on our supplies for 5 volts because rarely do people need more than that.
Yeah.
Right.
And then that came out, and it's really interesting because those guys actually called me and like asked me all these questions and checked because they really wanted to have a seamless entry into the world of Eurorack because I think they're smart guys and they wanted to make a good product.
Right.
But that was the one question that I don't remember talking to them about, like the 5-volt line. I think they just kind of assumed it was the same as the plus and minus 12.
Yeah.
And if you've been using Eurorack for a while, you know the 5-volt line is one of the most mysterious power lines in the Eurorack case.
Right.
I mean, it's not even on the original Dopefer case. It
was
it's
an
not.
add-on board.
was an add-on board, right? And only 2 of Dopefer's modules used them. So I mean, for people like us, we were always like 5 volts. Yeah,
Yeah,
no
you can't
thanks.
guarantee it. Yeah,
Can't
the jumper
guarantee it,
is like an optional advanced feature.
Right,
to
yeah.
do. Also, sometimes the 5-volt turns on after.
That's
so you
true.
get plus 12 and then you get 5.
Yeah.
And some power supplies, which can,
Right.
Yeah.
it goes in a fault condition.
And if you're developing something, you want to have control of that kind of thing, so that you're better off
totally.
just not using
You
it.
should do your own power sequencing. And
Do your own power sequencing, do your own regulation, your own isolation.
Yeah.
That's this other thing, people, when they make a module that has almost no bypassing or no isolation, and then they're complaining that the power supply is not quiet enough, my feeling is like your module should just be isolated enough that you don't have to worry about it.
Absolutely.
I mean, why? I don't know where you're going to take my module and what you're going to... I mean, have you seen these kids? Some of these guys have a cardboard box with wires coming out of it, and they've got modules hanging out over here and over here. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to build like you're sending it into war or something.
Yeah, totally. It's true. I almost think of it like the 500 series. Like when you look at the 500 series format, how they isolate the shielding and isolation from each
Right, they
module
have
in
the
those
box.
boxes.
Yeah.
They box everything. All the electronics aren't open. They're like sealed for a lot of those.
Yeah, they're fully enclosed in
fully
steel.
enclosed in steel to isolate any noise from any crosstalk.
Though, I've talked to people in that market as well, and it's funny how many of them have these exact same complaints that we have.
Oh yeah, in that,
Oh my
in
God.
that format. Yeah.
All of them are like, oh, and then this one, if you plug it in next to mine gets really noisy, and I'm, but mine's fine, it's theirs, and they're all
They wanna
having the same
complain- yeah,
conversation. And this power supply is shit,
Yeah,
It's
totally.
Right.
It's all
or
the
this
same
boxer,
stuff.
yeah, totally.
I thought that whole world was super organized and like strict.
They have like that top-down API spec you have to apply to.
And you know what? I found out nobody uses it.
Yeah, nobody uses the
Right.
real
Nobody
I thought
adheres to
everybody
these
used
standards,
that, and I'm
right.
talking to all these 500 series guys one night, and they're like, "Oh, no one bothers with that."
doesn't make me feel so bad.
I love it. I
thinking
love
a
it.
small
We're the
conversation.
lo-fi format. And they're
Yeah,
like
yeah,
everything.
totally.
Oh,
No one pays attention to that. I love it. Oh, that's great.
I think it's, anytime
interesting,
you
though.
just open something up the way we have, there's advantages and disadvantages. The advantage is that all this really cool stuff happens because let's face it, modular synthesis up to the point of Eurorack was pretty, there's stuff happening, but not like there is now.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I mean, it's crazy
It was
now.
really
It's-
slow up until like 2008 when
Right.
you could get cheap microcontrollers.
Totally.
And then boom, like by 2013 was this crazy year where suddenly there's 100 Eurorack
Explosion.
companies and thousands of modules, all different types. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Oh, it's the
And if
Wild
you had
West.
all these really strict
Yeah.
regulations, you might not see that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
Right.
Yeah, and everything's optional too.
Right.
People you're like, oh, it's a Gopher CV gate bus, but then you want to use it for clocks. You can use it for clocks. Sure, why not? Everything's optional.
All I would
So,
say is if you're
yeah.
planning on using the CV bus for something other than CV, you need to you need to have something in your design to also prevent
Disable it, yeah.
damage or like for example on the Tempe,
Two-way
you use that
damage,
bus
yeah.
and as you use on some of your
The
modules.
switch matrix.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I use the clock thing too, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
yeah, you got to be able to disable it so
Exactly.
it's non-interference.
Exactly.
It's an option, not a,
Exactly.
Not
So someone doesn't
required.
plug it in and then their thing doesn't work.
yeah. Or none of their things work. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Say, I mean, as long as you do that, I feel like it's safe.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, it costs a little more money to put reverse power protection on a module, but at the end of the day, it saves you how many
It saves
emails?
you
Couple
lot.
cents.
it
Yeah,
saves a
it's not
lot,
too
yeah.
much.
And
Yeah,
the machine
totally.
places it too, so it's
Pretty. It's
kind of.
So I can't bel-
I don't see an argument for not doing that.
right.
No, there's no argument for not doing it.
Yeah.
I started doing power sequencing.
That's
now,
awesome,
So
yeah.
delayed startup
okay.
by like a few seconds.
Yeah.
Because some
Sure.
of these really new supplies, your guys are perfect, but some of the other new ones that are really cheap don't have the ability to just
They don't
start a
ramp up?
capacitive load.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I've got multiple power supplies on like the mixer because it uses 400 milliamps.
Wow.
So it's a delayed startup.
Yeah, because that's a big draw.
So
Yeah.
it waits till all the rails are up
Yeah,
on its inputs.
waits till the
and then
rails are up and then opens up, N channel and a P channel power FET.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
It's not expensive to do and
Yeah.
it saves a lot of problems. Like we have the Pro output with big old caps on it for the headphone amp.
And they take forever to fill up.
Yeah, it takes forever to fill up and they have a huge load on the power supply. So
Yo, totally.
started having to do that.
Yeah, that's probably our power supply ramps up for that reason, so that because and all modules, because they are all, if they're built well, they have a lot of bypassing on them and stuff, and so everybody's modules in there have all these caps on them. They're just waiting to be filled up, and so you
Yeah.
hit that switch, and they're all like, "Gimme!" And even if your system's idling at like an amp, when you flip it on, it might be like 2 or 3 amps.
Well, it'll take as much as it can. It'll take
Right.
all the power supply can give it. Yeah.
Yeah. So ours ramps up. It like turns on slowly for that exact reason. Because at 5 volts, it can give twice as much current.
Yeah.
So then it can start charging those caps up, no problem.
Open source hardware DIY plans.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff coming in here, man.
Is there? Oh, good.
One from Tony.
Oh, actually, this is a good one. Just what we're talking about here, adding 3.3 volts to the spec.
Oh yeah,
No.
I just answered that. Yeah, I said it's not. I don't see that being a standard because there's no pins.
There's no
on
pins
Right.
for it.
And it's better to generate it on your module itself because
Yeah, you should use a little
Yeah.
switching supply so that because power efficiency is getting more important.
Yeah, you don't
as we
want-
use more and more,
you
especially
don't
for
want
like
3.3 volts going across the entire system.
Exactly.
And you draw off, but you're gonna have to regulate the hell out of it anyways.
yeah, you're gonna have
So-
noise problems if you start
Yeah,
sharing
not a good
high
idea.
power
Yeah.
signals like that.
This would be kind of cool. I wish this was working.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They're asking about your Matthewson.
Oh, Matthias. Yeah, Matthias Perch.
They're asking about your collab.
Oh yeah, how did the collab with Matthewson on the tap delay come about? How did the collaboration on the tap delay? Well, I don't know how it came about. We just emailed about. Oh no, we met first. We emailed. Anyways, he had this really great idea, and he pitched it to me, and I said he had a PD mock-up of it, and it's like said it sounds really cool, and I it's something I never would have thought of. And then we had the hardware platform. Oh, that was it. Yeah, he was looking for a hardware platform that it would run on, and I guess he's friends with Olivier.
Olivier from Mutable.
And then,
Yep.
Yeah, for some reason I think what Olivier had wasn't sufficient. I don't remember why. The SD-RAM was, maybe he did because they didn't have SD-RAM on his. Anyways, so I was like, well, the DLD will run it. So we actually developed it on the DLD. I sent him a DLD, and he flashed his own code to run on it. So, like this button was different features.
It's
and
repurposing
stuff.
the controls.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's the same hardware with
Totally.
an FSR glued on now. So.
Yeah, Matthews is. I work with Matthias a lot on. He hacks a lot of my modules.
Okay.
Like, I was like, hey Matthias, I want to do this. Can we change this to the clouds or whatever? But I'm also working with him on a really cool side-related project later this year with Google on a sort of like machine.
A what machine?
A deep mind machine learning project, DIY project. We're going to collaborate on with Google. So.
Oh, cool.
I can't say too much about it, but it'll be really cool. But Matthewson is great. He's really great. He's a brilliant, and he's in Paris too with Olivier Immutable. He just moved from, I think he moved from Montreal to Paris. Because last time I was in Paris, I had dinner with them together, and they're hanging out and stuff. But he's great. He's excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, I mean, it's brilliant. Like, just
he's brilliant.
did all
Yeah.
the code himself.
The code himself, yeah, totally.
Yeah, so
Adding even for instance some of the other modules, like adding tons of extra functionality, and also he's really great at refining and rethinking how to access different modes of a module. Like, oh, how can I simplify this process instead of but still give users all the features that they want to access really quick. I love what he did with warps. Redoing some of the warps, the firmware, the parasites firmware for that, clouds. I had some suggestions to improve switching modes quickly for people that are performing live to be able to access things quicker. He's just great. Yeah, excellent person. Rave
No more
reviews.
questions.
I'm trying to answer. I just answered the new chips coming out about the DSP stuff. I mean, yeah, analog always has its place. There's no digital always, DSP stuff.
Sure.
Like there's actually the places I feel like the places where they overlap are like you're taking shortcuts if you make you're trying to emulate an analog filter but use a digital circuit, but really just do an analog filter if that's what you want it to sound like.
Yeah,
Right.
So
Just use the real things.
yeah, it's not that complicated. So yeah.
Sometimes it can be cheaper even. When you look at firmware, how much time it can take to develop something, if you can
Totally.
shave some time off with analog processing where you can use it. The only thing that sucks is if you have to go digital to analog, then back to digital to finish some other process, then it kind of starts to get expensive.
Right.
Yeah, you don't need a separate output, a separate codec just to do like an analog effects loop or something, and so yeah. But if it's an all analog design, but you're trying to, but I think what is he asking? Is it cheaper to go DSP now? Are we at the tipping point as far as analog? Yeah, no way.
I don't think so.
Analog always.
Will always be both cheap and expensive. Like,
Yeah.
What the circuit needs.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like people think DSP is cheap because DSPs themselves have gotten cheaper, but what they're forgetting is the time that's required to make them do
The
anything.
development process of developing
Yeah.
something
Right.
is what takes the longest.
Yeah, I mean, when you're spending a year developing something, I mean, that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
At a certain point, it's like
Yeah.
hard to even track it anymore. It's just
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
what can we charge for this? We obviously can't charge
Can't do
based
by
on
hour,
time.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where the morphaging got. It's just like so much time is in that thing now. It's just like, we'll just charge what we can for it because it took too long to make it.
Yeah.
That's it. People don't, the DSP that's in it, it's not real expensive. I mean, DSPs are amazing these days. What you can get for $14, $15 is insane.
You could get like a full mini computer now if you want,
totally.
running Linux and
you
up
can
the
run a
side.
Raspberry Pi.
Raspberry Pi in the palm of your hand.
Right.
It's like it's crazy what you can do now. In comparison to like even 6 years ago, 5 years ago, it's exciting times. I think
Absolutely.
Like I think for the DIY, that question that's gonna it's like the DIY community is really starting to come up. You see like Patrick Dowling, these guys doing like Tim Church's the whole ornament and crime, and these modules have become really popular where making these really full-featured multifunction modules that can do very complex things and run multiple different modes, and and then you can even build them as kits for relatively cheap, and then even that is all open source. It's all out on GitHub. They can go and design their own programs that they want, sequencers or whatever they want. So it's really I think it's an interesting transitioning period right now, because I felt like this year a lot of the DIY stuff started to get people's attention when they brought that question up.
A lot of it's now based on like the Teensy.
The Teensy processor.
Arduino
Exactly.
compatible, but you have a 32-bit ARM that can run most of the code generated on the
Exactly.
And as the new ARMs come out, the F7s and
the
there's just
F7s
more and more.
F7's out.
Yeah, I know.
F7's out. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And it does 64-bit floats, doubles. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, and then you want to start improving some of your stuff, 'Cause
Yeah, so then it updates.
shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we're going from 32 to 64-bit, or like the DS Pix that everyone was using a few years ago didn't even do floating, right?
Yeah.
So
You had to do your math.
Yeah.
Or something, yeah.
Which you get to the endpoint really quick then.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we can do.
Yep.
And porting code over from DSP libraries and things, a lot of it's written in floats or fixed point, which is also, but yeah. So
I guess to answer that person's question, though, really, I guess as far as DIY is concerned, DSP is going to be the bigger development. Because if you think about it, you can get one DSP development environment, a little board with some jacks on it or something, and then you can sit there and kind of experiment with it. Whereas analog takes quite a bit more effort.
And equipment, typically.
Yeah,
You can do DSP development with a laptop and
minimal
and it's cheaper.
tools.
You can redesign your whole thing and not buy a single.
Right.
And you can
item,
also, what I'm also talking about is where you can repurpose a module or build like a simple module that you can just keep changing the function. When the Snazzy effects came out.
Yeah, the hardcore?
Yeah, the hardcore. When that first came out with the Arduino sketches.
It was a little early. That didn't really catch on, right?
Yeah. It didn't. I was one of the first adopters. I bought that when Dan released it, and I was like, oh, this is a brilliant idea. I can repurpose the module to be a filter, a delay line, or whatever you want. And then, then the equation composer came out. My friend Brett released that, and it was using the Arduino, same concept, but now you can load multiple Arduino sketches and make them in the computer. And I personally love that stuff. There's people that hate that, but I mean, you have the people who are the purists, and then you have people that are like me who love everything and just looking for making the most unique, fun sounds possible. But I see the strengths and the advantages of that. Being able to repurpose a module, but keep the format the same, but just develop different sketches or patches that you can run, depending on what you want to,
I'm fine with that for DIY or something like that, but for a finished product, I'm not into that at all. I absolutely hate picking up a mutable module, turning a knob, and it's not doing the thing it says it did. That drives me crazy.
Firmware?
It's not really a finished.
Oh, yeah.
It feels so annoying. Like someone loaned me a Clouds, and I take it home, and I'm like, God, this doesn't sound granular at all. It sounds like it's FMing an oscillator or something. Bring it back, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I left an alt firmware on there. What's the point? Is it a Clouds or is it not?
Yeah.
What the hell is it?
Probably should blend that out. Yeah.
That's the thing with the codec, DSP, and a little bit of CV handling is the same brain can be everything.
Could be everything.
Yeah, but people are forgetting about the UE, man.
You got to take away all the features that aren't necessary.
But people are
they're
forgetting about the UE.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Just get a computer and run Max MSP if you want to constantly be rebuilding something.
It's a good way to
me,
test out ideas, though.
No, I agree with you. From like I said, from a DIY.
What is a product?
rapid.
Yeah, sure,
yeah,
exactly.
From a
Just
DIY or just for fun DIY or for development or whatever. I mean, we do it all the time.
Yeah,
I mean,
development
we started
too.
development
I think
on
it's
the
really
development for the
I'm not a module
telharmonic was started on the
manufacturer, but I
Herbert.
think
Right.
It's just for me more like in using it as like a person who's using a modular synthesizer. Like I like the idea of something doing one thing. It's just not. I don't need to constantly be changing it. But maybe if I was like Rich and I used it all day long, that would be more exciting to me. I just feel like there's a beauty in something doing the thing it does.
Sure, no,
People are
no.
always going to mod and hack their things, so, you know.
Yeah, and there's
But yeah,
So-
that's a little different.
Yeah.
Though. Modding something or hacking, like if someone says, "Well, I really wish this filter distorted at the input," they get in there and they like maybe change some residual values so it can do that.
yeah. That's
I'm
what
talking about. You know, you're completely.
Yeah.
You're. You know, okay. Braids is a perfect example. You know, there's so many alternate firmwares for it. At what point does it stop being braids? You know what I mean?
It's just a shell.
It's just a shell, man.
It's a
And
shell,
I have
yeah.
to say, I kind of feel for Olivier in that way because it's like he has this product that people loved. They loved so much they don't let it be itself anymore.
Yeah.
It's no longer a
That's
braids. It's like he sold. It's like what was his vision has been kind of co-opted by all these DIY hackers, and to the point where.